The Billionaire's Secret, a story of betrayal and redemption. Chapter 1. The Hidden Empire. My family holds the title of the richest dynasty in the entire city. Years ago, my father grew terrified that ruthless opportunists would target our family for our vast fortune. To protect me, he asked me to make an ultimate sacrifice. Hide my identity and live as a poor man for 5 straight years. I obeyed his wishes without hesitation. But what my father failed to realize was that his legendary business genius ran thick through my veins. Business wasn't just a career to me. I could launch a successful empire with my eyes closed. While living in a modest apartment, I secretly founded the Schulien Group. Through sheer strategy and tireless work, I single-handedly pushed its market valuation to an astonishing $4 billion. I didn't keep a single cent of that success for myself. Instead, I used my immense wealth to secretly pamper my family. My wife, Schulien, could buy any designer handbag her heart desired. I purchased high-end health supplements by the crate for my mother-in-law. When my brother-in-law, Qin, wanted a brand new sports car, I quietly made sure it was delivered straight to his driveway. To them, I was just a humble, hard-working husband, an easygoing brother-in-law, and an obedient, quiet son-in-law. They walked all over me, completely oblivious to the fact that the man serving them tea was actually a multi-billionaire. Until that fateful afternoon. Chapter 2. The $100 million Gamble. Pay up right now. A rough voice shouted, shaking the front door off its hinges. Schulien's mother rushed into the living room, her face pale with terror. Qin Hua, can't you keep it quiet down here? Mom, what's going on? I asked, stepping forward to protect her. A muscular, heavily tattooed man stepped into the room, tossing a thick stack of papers onto the table. $100 million. If you don't pay every single cent today, nobody leaves this house alive. My heart skipped a beat. What? 100 million? Who borrowed that kind of money? I turned to the debt collector with a firm gaze. Go find the person who signed those papers. If you try to intimidate my family, don't blame me for taking action. Suddenly, Simeon, a man I used to consider my closest friend, stepped out from behind the heavy velvet curtains. He wore a sly, arrogant smirk. Calm down, Auntie, Simeon said smoothly, patting my mother-in-law on the shoulder. Don't be scared. The guys outside are just my associates. Schulien's mother gasped. Friends? Are you still trying to hide this from us? You owe $100 million outside. Are you trying to drag our entire family into the gutter? Before Simeon could respond, Schulien jumped in, her voice shrill and protective. Mom. You didn't hear him clearly. It wasn't Simeon who borrowed the money, it was Qin Hua. The loan agreement has his name written right on it. It has nothing to do with us. My brother is an obedient, well-behaved boy. How could he ever get involved in gambling? I stood there in complete disbelief. Schulien, do you honestly believe I borrowed $100 million? You know my character better than anyone. She didn't look me in the eye. Instead, she reached into her handbag, pulled out a heavy paper folder, and slapped it against my chest. Divorce, she said coldly. The room fell dead silent. What did you say? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Enough talking, Schulien sneered. These are the official divorce papers. I had the city's top family lawyers draft them days ago. Sign them right now. Don't waste another second of my time. I looked at the papers, then looked at her face. For the first time in 3 years, the veil fell from my eyes. I see, I said, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. Just because I refused to secretly clear your brother's massive gambling debts this time, you want to throw our marriage away. Fine. If that's how you want it, then you can handle his debt yourselves. Chapter 3. The Price of Greed. Schulien crossed her arms, her head held high. I prepared the divorce agreement in advance because I've been dissatisfied with this marriage for a very long time. Is it a crime to plan ahead? Have you ever stopped to think about how your poor family dragged me down? She stepped closer, her eyes flashing with pure contempt. Remember the bride price back then? You took forever to scrape together that pathetic $990,000. My family was blind to let me marry a pauper like you. Hearing her bring up our wedding sent a sharp pain through my chest. You still have the nerve to bring up the bride price? I remembered our wedding day as if it were yesterday. My father had explicitly warned me about her family's insatiable greed. Flashback, 3 years ago. My father had pulled me aside outside the wedding venue, his voice filled with deep concern. Son, get out of the car. A woman like her will ruin your life. Get out. Roland's mother had screeched, blocking the car door. Why should she get out? The agreed bride price of $990,000 was just your basic duty. Now, if you want my daughter to step out of this wedding car, you must hand over another $1 million as a stepping out fee. Not a single cent less, or the wedding is off. At the time, I was soft-hearted and hopelessly in love. I agreed to their absurd demands. Moments later, inside the banquet hall, Roland refused to serve tea to my parents. She didn't give birth to me. Why should I call her mom? Roland had sneered in front of hundreds of guests. He didn't raise me either. If you want me to serve tea, add another $1 million as an address change fee. My father had looked at me with deep sorrow. Son, $3 million is just 1 hour of income for our family business. But have you thought about what kind of life you will have with a woman like this? How many endless troubles will follow? Present day, standing in the living room, I looked at Roland and shook my head. My dad was right. I brought all of this pain upon myself. A woman like you really never deserved to enter my family. Roland scoffed. Oh, please. Stop blaming me. All these years, I never felt like you truly loved me anyway. I didn't love you? I asked, my voice trembling with suppressed emotion. For 3 solid years, I took meticulous care of you. When you craved donuts at 2 a.m., I ran across the entire city in the freezing rain to buy them for you. When you had severe stomach pains in the middle of the night, I carried you on my back all the way to the hospital. You owe me half your life. I never asked you to save me. She snapped back. What kind of love is that? I wanted real luxury, real status. She reached into her coat and pulled out a stunning, diamond-encrusted bracelet. My eyes narrowed. Who gave you that? Simeon stepped forward, wrapping a protective arm around Roland's waist. Who are you to question her, Qin Hua? Roland is beautiful, has a stunning figure, and carries herself with elegance. Countless wealthy men want her. What can a loser like you offer? She is my wife. I shouted. She should abide by her marital duties instead of accepting lavish gifts from other men. She only married you. She didn't sell her soul to you. Simeon countered, arrogance dripping from every word. What right do you have to restrict her freedom? Besides, she's pregnant. The world seemed to stop spinning. My eyes dropped to Roland's stomach. You're pregnant? Roland looked at me with cold indifference. It's not your child anyway. Why are you getting so excited? Simeon smiled warmly at her, gently rubbing her abdomen. Simeon, you're finally here, she whispered softly to him. That's right, Simeon announced proudly. I am the biological father of this child. I looked at Simeon, the man I had helped out of the gutter. Simeon, I always treated you like my own brother. Houching, my brother-in-law, burst out laughing. Brother? Don't flatter yourself, Qin Hua. Back when you were unemployed and couldn't pay your home mortgage, who lent you money? I asked Simeon directly. Simeon sneered. You lent me money only because you expected me to get rich and pay you back double. And what about your job referral? I pressed on. If I hadn't pushed you into the Schulien Group, could you have ever become a senior executive earning a $5 million salary? Simeon scoffed, adjusting his expensive suit jacket. I checked with the company HR. They told me I was hired purely because of my own brilliant competence. What does that have to do with your broke ass? I let out a cold, hollow laugh. Competence? Simeon, if I hadn't personally ordered HR to bypass your terrible resume to protect your fragile pride, do you think you could have ever stepped foot inside Schulien Group? Fine. Starting today, I fire you. Let's see if your competence can land you another high-paying job. Roland's mother stepped forward, pointing a crooked finger at my face. Thank goodness I was smart enough to make Roland take birth control pills every single time she was intimate with you. Otherwise, a loser like you would be using a child to blackmail us into paying off your debts right now. She spat on the floor. We originally thought that if you behaved like an obedient dog, we might let you take the fall and raise Simeon's child as your own. But now that you owe $100 million, you don't even have the qualifications to be a scapegoat. My hands clenched into tight fists. For 3 years, Roland had never gotten pregnant. Her mother had repeatedly humiliated me in front of all our relatives, cursing me as a useless man who couldn't reproduce. She had even forced me to undergo humiliating medical exams at the hospital. The entire time, they had been plotting against me. Chapter 4. The Betrayal Unravels. Simeon pulled Roland closer, whispering into her ear. Baby, don't be afraid. I'm here. Why don't you and your family move into my luxury penthouse tonight? If those debt collectors come back, they might scare you and my unborn son. He turned to look at me, a vicious smirk playing on his lips. What's the matter, Qin Hua? Does it hurt seeing Roland in my arms? Let me tell you the absolute truth. Every single time you went away on business trips, Roland was staying over at my place. A beast will always be a beast, I said quietly, staring him down. Roland pulled her mother's arm. Mom, let's go. Don't let his terrible luck rub off on us. Suddenly, her mother stopped in her tracks, her eyes lighting up. Wait a minute. Roland, you're still a minor shareholder in Schulien Group, aren't you? You need to quickly withdraw your shares. Otherwise, when he goes bankrupt, the courts will make you help pay off his massive debts. Roland panicked. You're right, Mom. That bastard is so vicious, he probably planned to drag me down with him. Just as they turned to leave, my cell phone vibrated violently. It was my executive assistant, Mr. Chun. Mr. Qin. Please come back to headquarters right away. Mr. Qin gasped over the line. Something terrible has happened. Calm down. What is it? I replied calmly. It's your wife. She's at the corporate headquarters causing a massive public scene with Mr. Shu. She's demanding an immediate withdrawal of her equity shares, and she's spreading wild rumors everywhere. She's telling the press and staff that you owe $100 million to loan sharks and plan to flee the country with company funds. I took a deep breath. Stabilize the situation. I'll be there shortly. Although Schulien Group had started as a modest venture, its rapid growth had pushed its market value past $4 billion. The minor 5% equity stake I had quietly gifted Roland was currently worth at least $400 million, shares that top global investors would beg to acquire. I never imagined she would be so foolishly eager to throw them away. Zhang Roland, I thought to myself, I am truly waiting for the day you realize what you've destroyed. Chapter 5. The Corporate Circus. Inside the bustling lobby of Schulien Group, chaos reigned supreme. Roland was standing on top of a leather sofa, shouting at the top of her lungs while administrative staff tried desperately to calm her down. Hurry up and process the legal paperwork. Roland screamed at the company treasurer. From this very second onwards, I am no longer a shareholder of this garbage company. She turned toward the crowd of visiting clients and corporate partners. Listen up, everyone. Do not do business with this firm. The founder, Qin Hua, owes $100 million in illegal gambling debts. He is an absolute scumbag, and he's about to run away with your investment money. A representative from a major partner firm froze, dropping his pen. What? Owed $100 million? That is outrageous. We cannot sign this contract. Let's leave immediately. Schulien pointed dramatically at the corporate office doors. Attention, all employees. Keep a close eye on your personal belongings. Your fraudulent boss might start stealing office equipment tonight to cover his debts. Panicking employees began whispering among themselves. Oh my God. The boss signed for $100 million? No wonder his wife is making a scene. We need to grab our office computers to cover our unpaid salaries. Simeon stepped up beside Schulien, looking solemnly at the crowd. As a former senior executive and his longtime friend, it pains me to confirm that these allegations are true. Protect yourselves, everyone. If President Xu says it's true, then it must be. A staff member cried out. Start looking for new jobs immediately. Everyone, stop right now. I commanded, stepping through the glass sliding doors. My voice cut through the chaos like a sharp blade. I walked directly toward Schulien and Simeon. How dare you spread fabrications and incite a riot inside my corporate headquarters? Any financial losses the company suffers as a result of your actions today will be billed directly to you in court. I will personally ensure you both serve maximum prison time for corporate defamation. Schulien laughed hysterically. Stop bluffing, Qin Hua. You owe a full $100 million. The loan sharks were literally standing in your living room. How can you deny it? You're dragging your employees down with your sinking ship. I will not allow anything to happen to Schulien Group, I said firmly, addressing the nervous crowd of workers. Everyone, return to your desks and resume your duties immediately. Schulien rolled her eyes. Still pretending everything is fine? Whatever. See you at the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp. I looked at her cold face and smiled slightly. Being so eager for a divorce suits me just fine. This way, I don't have to worry about you claiming half of my true net worth. Chapter 6. The Paperwork of Freedom. The next morning, inside the quiet office of the Civil Affairs Bureau, the official mediator reviewed our file. Outside the window, a small crowd of onlookers had gathered after recognizing Schulien from the news scandals. May I confirm with both parties, the mediator asked, holding up the final divorce decree. Have you both thoroughly reviewed and confirmed the terms of this agreement? Yes. Completely confirmed. Schulien blurted out instantly. I voluntarily leave with absolutely nothing. I don't want a single cent of his property, and I refuse to assume a single dollar of his personal debts. No objections here, I replied smoothly. Please stamp the official seals. Thump. The heavy red stamp landed on the documents. I am finally free. Schulien cheered loudly, throwing her arms around Simeon right in the middle of the hallway. Simeon, I love you so much. I'm so lucky to have met a real man like you. You've given me a fresh start away from this broke loser. Her mother scoffed at me as they walked toward the exit. Get lost, you pauper. My daughter is carrying Simeon's golden child. From now on, she will live a life of absolute luxury and never have to look at your pathetic face again. Simeon whipped out his gold credit card. Honey, today is a magnificent day. We must throw a grand feast. Hello? Is this the Tanghai Grand Hotel? Book your top-tier VIP celebration banquet hall for 7 p.m. tonight. And pull 2 bottles of 1982 Chateau Lafite from your private wine cellar. Money is no object. He turned back to look at me with a condescending grin. Hey, Qin Hua. Why don't you come along for a free meal? After all, you'll probably be digging through public trash cans for food by next week. Let's go, Simeon, Schulien sneered. Stop talking to this fool. The loan sharks will probably leave his body in a ditch by tonight anyway. Just as they stepped out onto the marble front steps of the building, 3 black SUVs screeched to a halt, blocking the driveway. Heavy-set men in black suits piled out, led by the same terrifying debt collector from the previous day. Roland's mother instantly paled, jumping behind Simeon. Hey, you've got the wrong people. His debt has nothing to do with us. He just legally divorced my daughter. Do whatever you want with him, just don't involve us. The lead collector sneered. What kind of nonsense are you babbling about? Drag the debtor forward. Two large men reached into the back of a van and dragged out a beaten, bruised young man tied up with thick ropes. It was Houching. Houching! Roland screamed. My precious brother. What happened to you? The debt collector grabbed Houching by the hair, forcing him to look up. Identify your family right now. Which ones are your relatives? Today, we settle this account once and for all. Mom. Sis. Simeon. Save me. Houching sobbed hysterically. I owe them $100 million. I couldn't pay today, so they caught me at the club. They're going to take my fingers. Roland gasped, her eyes wide with confusion. Houching, what are you saying? Did someone beat you crazy? The person who owes the money is clearly Qin Hua. He gambled, went broke, and ran up huge debts. How could it possibly be you? Houching cried out louder. Sis. You've been completely fooled. I was the one who signed the online gambling loans using Qin Hua's contact information. Brother-in-law, you're the best at fixing things. You always secretly cleared my debts in the past. Please help me one last time. Give them the money, or they will kill me. Chapter 7, The Reckoning. The entire front square went dead silent. Roland and her mother stood frozen like stone statues. I took a slow step back, adjusting my coat. Houching, you're calling the wrong person brother-in-law. Your sister just signed our official divorce papers. I am no longer part of your family. What? The lead debt collector roared, grabbing Simeon by the collar. You let him divorce her. If he leaves, who is going to pay back my $100 million? Roland panicked, grabbing Simeon's arm tightly. Simeon. You're a high-level executive at Schulien Group, making tens of millions. What is $100 million to a rich man like you? Just consider it in advance on my bride price. Pay off my brother's debt right now. Simeon's face turned bright red, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. Auntie. $100 million is an astronomical amount. All of my assets are tied up in complex international investments. I can't liquidate that kind of cash overnight. Roland's mother stared at him in shock. What do you mean? Don't tell me you can't come up with $100 million. You brag to us every single day about your vast wealth. Are you trying to back out now? I chuckled softly from the side. Assets worth over $100 million? His executive position was obtained entirely through lies and manipulation. I doubt he'll even have a job by tomorrow afternoon. Qin Hua, shut your mouth. Simeon yelled desperately. My position in the group is rock solid. Stop trying to create discord. The debt collector lost his patience, pulling out a heavy metal bat. I don't have time for your family drama. Where's my money? If I don't see cash right now, someone is leaving in an ambulance. Don't hit him. Roland's mother screamed, tearing open her purse. We have money. Roland, hand over all your credit cards. Cover whatever you can. Roland nervously pulled out a sleek, black metallic credit card with no printed numbers. Big brother. Try swiping this card. See how much credit it has. The collector snatched the black card and swiped it through a portable card reader. The digital machine beeped loudly. The collector's eyes widened in sheer disbelief. What the? How much is it? Roland's mother asked eagerly. This card has an unlimited credit line with a $100 million instant spending cap. The collector stammered. $100 million. Roland's mother gasped. Daughter, where did you get a card like this? I don't know. Rulon stammered, her mind racing. I usually just used it to buy groceries and expensive cosmetics. I never expected the limit to be that high. She turned towards Simeon, her face glowing with admiration. I remember now. Only a powerful executive like Simeon could give me a card with such an insane limit. Simeon, you're so generous. I stepped forward, looking at the black card in the collector's hand. That happens to be the supplementary grocery card I gave her 2 years ago. The spending limit was set directly by my primary master account. Rulon sneered at me. Stop lying, Qin Hua. You're broke. How could you ever own a card like this? She looked lovingly at Simeon. Swipe it, big brother. Clear the debt. The collector swiped the card again. Beep. A harsh red light flashed on the machine screen. Notification, transaction declined. Primary cardholder has permanently deactivated this account. The collector's face darkened instantly. This card has been completely shut down. Are you playing games with me? Rulon turned frantically to Simeon. Simeon. The machine says the primary account holder deactivated it. Quick, call your bank and reactivate it. Simeon stammered, backing away. I think I left the primary card at home. I need to go search for it. Search for it. I interrupted with a cool smile. You didn't lose anything, Simeon. You never owned the primary account in the first place. But please, go ahead and pay off your new family's debt. I'll take my leave now. Wait. You can't leave. Rulon's mother shrieked, blocking my path. This debt belongs to the family. You must pay it. Why should I? I replied, holding up the stamped divorce decree. We are legally strangers. Your son's gambling addiction has nothing to do with me. I turned to the debt collector. If you want your $100 million, I suggest you look at Mr. Shu over there. He claims to be worth hundreds of millions. I'm sure he can cover it. The collector turned his menacing glare onto Simeon. Hundreds of millions, huh? Pay up right now, executive. Simeon panicked, backing toward his sports car. Wait. I'm just dating her. We aren't even married. Rulon gasped, clutching her stomach. Simeon. What are you saying? We are having a baby together. Get away from me. Simeon yelled, pushing her aside. Your family is in bottomless pit of trash. Your brother owes $100 million, and you want to drag me into the abyss with you? Chapter 8, Stripped Bare. With nowhere left to run, the debt collectors forced Simeon, Rulon, and her mother into the corner of the parking lot. Since the rich ex-husband walked away legally, you three are going to pay every single penny back today. The collector barked. Hand over your assets. Simeon trembled, pulling out his wallet and handing over every single personal card he owned. These accounts hold a total of $30 million. It's every cent of my life savings. Take my luxury car too. Just let me go. The collector reviewed the bank transfer confirmations and snatched the keys to Simeon's car. $30 million cash, plus an $8 million property deed from the mother. That's $38 million total. We'll take this as a down payment. We'll be back for the rest next month. As the debt collectors drove away, Simeon collapsed onto the pavement, clutching his chest. $30 million. My entire life savings. Gone in an instant. Rulon knelt beside him, trying to comfort him. Simeon, we still have each other. As long as you have your executive position at Schulien Group, we can rebuild. Simeon slapped her hand away violently. If it weren't for the child in your stomach, I would throw your entire parasite family into the river right now. Get into the taxi. We're going back to my apartment. An hour later, inside Simeon's apartment, Rulon's mother was busy admiring the high-end decor. Rulon, Simeon's place is so much better than Qin Hua's dull house. You definitely made the right choice. Crash. A loud shattering sound echoed from the study room. Simeon rushed out of his office, his face twisted in pure rage. Houching was standing beside a glass display case, holding a snapped piece of painted plastic. "What did you do?" Simeon screamed, grabbing Houching by the shirt. Houching rolled his eyes. "Relax, bro. It's just a plastic toy figure. The joints were too tight, so I tried to bend them. Why get so angry? I'll just buy you another one." "A toy?" Simeon roared, his voice cracking. "That is a globally limited edition collector's statue worth $50,000. I used every high-level contact I had to acquire it." Rilon's mother stepped in, frowning at Simeon. "Why are you yelling at a child?" When Qin Hua was here, Houching used to take his expensive designer watches worth tens of thousands to play with all the time, and Qin Hua never even blinked. Now that is what I call a generous brother-in-law. Simeon looked like he was about to explode. Qin Hua was generous because he was an idiot. If you love Qin Hua so much, get out of my house and go beg him on your knees. Rilon quickly stepped between them. "Simeon, please calm down. Don't mind my mom and brother. They just don't know any better. Think about the baby. If you stress me out, what if something happens to your son?" Simeon took a deep, shaky breath, trying to control his anger. "Fine. Just keep them out of my sight." Later that evening, wanting to smooth things over, Rilon's mother decided to cook an extravagant dinner. She walked into the living room holding a massive silver platter, presenting a beautifully steamed fish with rich herbs. "Simeon," she announced proudly, "I made peace with you. Come try this fish I spent hours preparing. It's incredibly fresh." Simeon took a small bite, his eyes widening slightly. "This tastes incredible. What kind of fish is this? It doesn't taste like normal base." Rilon's mother smiled proudly. "I saw that big glass tank in your living room. That huge red fish swimming inside. It was so slow, so I told Houching to net it out and cook it. Why waste money at the market when we have fresh fish right here?" Simeon froze mid-chew. His fork dropped onto the table with a loud clatter. He slowly turned his head toward the living room. The massive, custom-built $100,000 aquarium was completely empty. You cooked my red fish?" Simeon whispered, his body trembling uncontrollably. "Yeah," she replied cheerfully. "Use what's available. My prized Asian arowana." Simeon shrieked, slamming both fists onto the dining table so hard the dishes rattled. "That fish cost me $200,000. My entire business fortune and feng shui were tied to that fish." Rilon's mother stepped back, defensive. "Why keep such an expensive fish at home anyway? Steaming a red fish brings rising prosperity. I did this for your own good. Get out." Simeon screamed, his blood pressure soaring to dangerous levels. "Get out of my house. All of you. Go find your precious Qin Hua and let him take care of you in your old age." He grabbed their luggage, threw it out into the hallway, and slammed the door shut, locking it tight. Chapter 9. The $400 million Regret. Standing on the freezing street curb late at night, clutching their shabby suitcases, Rilon's family had nowhere left to go. "Mom, where are we going now?" Houching whimpered, rubbing his stomach. "I'm hungry." "We're going to Schulien Group," her mother declared bitterly. Qin Hua still loves Rilon deep in his heart. "We will make a massive scene in front of his corporate headquarters tomorrow morning. He will be forced to take us back to protect his reputation." The next morning, the three of them marched arrogantly into the corporate lobby of Schulien Group. "Tell Qin Hua to come down here right now," Rilon's mother shouted at the front desk receptionist. "I am his mother-in-law." The receptionist looked at them with professional coldness. "Ma'am, Mr. Qin is officially single. You have the wrong place." Just then, Mr. Qin walked out of the executive elevator, holding a stack of financial reports. He caught sight of Rilon and chuckled softly. Miss Zhang. What a rare surprise, Mr. Qin said mockingly. Did Simeon kick you out already? Rulon held her chin up high. So what if we're here? Tell Qin Hua to return my 5% corporate equity shares immediately. Mr. Qin burst into genuine laughter. Miss Zhang, you truly picked the most comedic timing in history to cash out your equity. On behalf of our entire corporate board, I sincerely thank you. Rulon frowned. What are you talking about? It means, Mr. Qin explained, leaning in with a sharp smile, that Schulien Group completes its initial public offering, IPO, on the global stock market next week. Based on our final pre-market valuation, that 5% equity stake you voluntarily surrendered for that $100 million debt is officially valued at $400 million. Rulon's breath hitched. Her heart felt like it was being crushed by a vice. For $100 million. Not a penny less, Mr. Qin added smoothly. And since you voluntarily relinquished all rights during your divorce, President Qin redistributed those exact shares as an executive bonus to our core R&D engineering team. Rulon collapsed onto her knees right on the polished marble floor. My $400 million. My fortune. I shouldn't have gotten divorced. Qin Hua. I was wrong. She began sobbing hysterically, hitting the floor with her palms. Chapter 10, The Prince Returns. At that exact moment, the private executive elevator doors opened. An elderly man in a bespoke suit stepped out, flanked by dozens of international bodyguards. Beside him stood a refined, imposing figure clad in a custom Italian suit, Qin Hua. Rulon crawled forward on her hands and knees, grabbing the hem of my trousers. Qin Hua. I was wrong. My family was greedy and blind. Please, let's cancel the divorce. I will be a good wife. I stepped back coldly, looking down at her as if she were a speck of dust. The divorce is final. Don't touch me. I turned away from her and bowed deeply to the elderly man standing beside me. Father, I said softly, my voice filled with genuine emotion. Back then, you warned me that Rulon had terrible intentions and that her family was insatiably greedy. But I was blinded by emotion and insisted on marrying her. I hurt you, broke your heart, and almost compromised our business interests out of my own naivety. Father. Can you ever forgive me? My father, Qin Jinbong, the legendary head of the multi-trillion-dollar Qin family global business empire, looked down at me. His stern expression gradually softened into a proud smile. You misjudged people, son, my father said, placing a heavy, warm hand on my shoulder. It is fine to value relationships, but a true leader must never let emotions cloud his vision. Stand up tall. I stood up straight, meeting his gaze. You took a hard fall, my father continued, but you have grown into a true man. Schulien Group was built by your hands alone, proving your raw capability. But capability without vision is incomplete. I understand now, father, I replied firmly. Merging Schulien Group into our main family empire isn't enough. I intend to use this acquisition to completely clean out every unscrupulous competitor in the industry. I want them all to know who truly commands this market. My father let out a booming laugh that echoed through the grand lobby. Arrogant, ambitious, and sharp. You are truly my son. Go ahead and take full control. A senior butler stepped forward, presenting an exquisite gold binder containing global asset transfer deeds. Welcome back to the throne, Crown Prince Qin, the butler announced loudly, bowing deeply. I took the master executive pen, signed my name with a flourish, and looked out across the city skyline through the floor-to-ceiling glass windows. The past was officially buried. A brand new game had just begun.